Alright, 27 March 2021, and just gonna get an update on my garden, especially these sunflowers. I planted these at varying times, and you kind of tell like the height category. All the ones that are a little over 2 feet, I planted maybe well more than a month ago, and already some of them are bolting, but for example, right here, this is definitely not bolting, and from what I see, the wider its leaf span and the slower they are to bolt, generally the bigger and taller they'll get. Also, the thickness of the stem. The thicker they get, there's a tendency that they can also get taller too. Like this guy, it's one of the later ones I planted. This guy's also not bolting at all, and I'd say this so far is probably the biggest one right here. And its leaf span is about almost 3 feet in diameter. It's a little wider than it is tall, and that's a good thing, because that means it won't bolt so quickly. There's really no signs of bolting at all. So, but this guy right here is about 2 feet tall. This guy's horrible. It's probably no more than 1.5 feet in diameter in its leaf span. It's already got a really big flower bud, which means it's not going to grow a lot more, so probably get up to about 4 feet or so. If lucky, maybe 3.5 feet. Because even right here, they can still keep on growing a little bit more. It's probably going to still be over 3 feet, but it's literally, like, if I can show you, it's still shorter than the ones around it that are in the same generation. I believe this guy within another 2 weeks will probably be taller than this. Like this guy right here, I think this is actually the tallest one. I think it's around 3 feet. It's got a really nice thick stem. And it all depends on genetics and the conditions they have. And as far as spacing, I make sure these guys get around 3 feet of spacing, or close to that. Yeah, none of these guys are bolting at all. So it's all about luck. Some of them have really good genetics and won't bolt for a really long time. Well, some of them will bolt really soon. I have varying sizes. This is probably the smallest one. It's probably staying small because it's kind of shaded here. For example, this guy right here, it's bolting really soon. Because when it's bolting it's only a little over 2 feet. That means it's not going to grow that much taller. This one guy might get to 5 feet if lucky, but with that big of a flower bud, I don't really expect too much from it. So even though its peers around it are not much different in size, just because this one's bolting, it'll probably be a lot shorter. It'll probably make a flower a lot sooner and stop growing probably a month or so before these guys do, because these guys show absolutely no sign of bolting. So I mean, these guys could probably get to 7 feet, maybe even over 10 feet, or at least 7 feet, because I have no idea what's going to bolt. Already getting kind of thick. And these two were definitely planted later, so, or actually these three, they were definitely planted in the same group. And then these guys, I like to use Espoma fertilizer, usually a balanced type fertilizer, and just organic fertilizer. Because if it gets too much of a shock all at once, sometimes it can cause a lot of stress on the roots, and a lot of times for vegetables or flowers, if you stress the plant, like if you give it drought, it'll try to go to seed quicker, so it'll actually try to mature and develop the buds sooner, which gives it less time to grow taller. And if you like to grow sunflowers, the objective is to give them as much time to grow as possible, and as much space as possible, so they can get really big and have really nice flowers. So yeah, I think some of these guys will probably get over 10 feet. And these are mammoth sunflowers. Kind of doing the same thing with the carrots, spacing them out so they can get bigger. Got some pepper plants. I think these are jalapeno. And onions on the other side. These are all 3 different species or colors. I just got a mixed batch here. And some scallions on the other side. Got my shies, which are a little bit overgrown, but they're doing really well. They don't really require much care. And then I have some old jicama. There's a lot of weeds in between here, but I can take them out later when they become a problem. And then I have these green radishes. They grow just like daikon, but on the top part they have a tinge of green. And I like to space them out at least more than a foot apart. And within about 3 weeks, some of them should be ready to harvest. Because they grow to about this size. This one's flowering, so I'm not going to bother it. I'll probably let it go to seed. And then finally, I have these asparagus. Pretty easy to take care of. The basil here, still growing well with all the rain. And then I have the fuzzy gourds. It's definitely growing a lot of tendrils. I might try to get them onto the trellis a little more. I do use these bags because there's always fruit flies. It's kind of on the other side, but this one should be ready in a couple of days. They come in different shapes. Some of them grow a little round, some of them grow long. Like this one's just getting started, and this one's just about ready to harvest. I could probably pick this today or tomorrow. But yeah, fuzzy gourd's pretty good. Good for soups and stir fries. Yeah, that's my entire garden.